about television. And I've heard yesterday you already discussed a lot. And the big question is, okay, when does television actually start? When does it start in human life? The baby will remember the intro song of the soap. So actually we have already prenatal television. Why I like this study really well, why I really like this study is not only because it shows where you can get research money for, is nowadays, at least in all industrialized countries or industrialized cities, children are growing literally into a world full of media. There's no way how we can really get them out unless the parents decided and live a life totally out of society or in their own culture where they just put out all kind of electronic media. Does TV make children fat? There are a lot of studies on this special issue. Yes, can be, because the question of what are they consuming throughout the television, and mostly it's junk food. There could be a relation between it. If you have a closer look, overweight and television is not directly connected. The closest connection is how much do the parents know about food and about dieting and all these kind of things which makes us slimmer or fatter. There is a little relation or a little correlation between advertisement and weight. If there's a lot of advertisement, for example, from McDonald's, then you can show, and in the times where McDonald's didn't have the healthy food, then there is a little bit too overweight. Does it make it dumb? Well, if a child, and there are some studies, long-lasting studies, where they found out if a child, you have to be very careful about, it's an US study, if a child under the age of 3 watches more than 3 hours daily, then you can show on the longer hand at some of the children some deficits. Where I would say, well, a child in the age of 3 should not watch more than 3 hours daily. And does it make it aggressive? Well, there are more than 33,000 studies on television and aggression. Yes, there are correlations. But let me just share, for example, something, I think you didn't have it here. It's an animation going around the world, Dragon Ball Z. But I know we've done studies on fans on This is Dragon Ball Z. And the question is, okay, what is fascinating on it? What do children take for boys? A very important issue at a certain age. Is my body normal? It's about being protected, because Son Goku has, if he's in power, and oh my god, now I have to, sorry. Because Son Goku, when he develops and he finds the power in himself, he gets the energy, an energy ball here, and then he throws it away. And when he really gets in power, this hair's got stiff and stiffer and longer. So it's also a kind of, metaphor what is going on in the body. And yes, boys are looking for these kind of metaphors, symbols of what is happening with my body. How can I deal with it? What does it mean? I feel there's a power, and how should I deal with it? So content counts, it's important, but it's not as easy as a stimulus response. Sometimes, when we are really clear what is on the television screen, it turns out, if you have a closer look at the child, no, they see it totally different. And we always have to keep that in mind. It's not what we see, you always have to come from the child perspective to understand what's there. And sometimes it's totally different. It's still in the content, but it's totally different. At least some comparison between Canada, Germany, and Uganda. So what are children in Uganda? We have 100 children from Uganda telling us where they really had a lot of fun in television. And There's one show where they really had a lot of fun, which is Tom and Jerry. Tom is riding a bicycle and he's chasing Jerry. Yeah? Or Tom wanted to see a milk, he was unlucky, he fell into the cup of milk, he drowned and he was dead. Jerry came laughing, and that was the end of Tom's life. Which at the first hand sounds really cruel, but if we take them serious, no, it's not about being cruel, it's fun. On the other hand, what you can show from this study, even if it's primarily the results, that they also have nightmares. It's the possibility to give them a lot of fun, a lot of perspective in life, but also to put them on the edge of the things they can deal with, sorry. The results overall, nearly all children, just one child in Uganda didn't know when there was something really funny in children's television or in television. And a lot had described a TV-included nightmare. And clearly, in Uganda and in Canada, we had much more than in Germany. And then we asked the children, did you tell anybody about your nightmare? And there you can see, yes. In Uganda, and this is, more than in Germany or Canada, they at least had the feeling they could tell somebody, and it's mainly the friend, the mum, and then comes the brother and sister, whom they're talking about their nightmare. So there are some other moments where it seems, at least in this 100 kids from Uganda, they had really a way, more or less, to deal with it. When we asked them to draw and to talk about their nightmares, and you clearly can see it's a lot of animals. Well, we had in Canada and Germany, we had magical creatures from television. Here, it's like crocodiles, a lot of snakes, snakes eating people, and but also it's a mixture of piranha and anaconda. Scientists find a way to mix it. So this one is chasing him or eating them, and this is the girl dreaming, and that's her too. And this is the snake poisoning the body. This one is from one special I dreamt when I also was kidnapped. And just have a short look at some of the content children in Uganda had access to. In this study, we had two girls who told us about the nightmares they had, and it's really like like I was kidnapped and I was in this. So, what you have to be very clear: children go into the children's perspective, into the child presenter, into the child symbol of a story. And here, it's the baby and their crush. We know it's not a stimulus response, but we know from communication research that the information seen first appears as true. So depending on if it's politics or something else, the first thing you know, the first picture you got from Uganda, I will take in my mind, and in my mind was of the Civil War. Yeah? So this is what first comes to Uganda, and even it takes up to 3 informations to re-inform this first in a picture you have in your mind. And we take away from television something which is told again and again and again. So yes, it's not a stimulus response, but some of the pictures stay in our mind. Some of the pictures we can use as symbols, to grow, or to feel helpless, or to just be scared of the world.
Go as first for stars.
Well, the question is, we asked nearly 150 children from 11 countries, is she beautiful? Who said yes more often? Girls, boys, or is there no difference? It's clearly girls. Because she is casted in the way that she is not the beauty. And girls in this age of 10 to 17, they already discussed, am I beautiful? This is the big issue. And they said, no, she's beautiful. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. You know? There is a highly significant difference. And then we had a closer look at the sex of the main character. Is it a male or a female? Yeah. If it's a dog or a monkey or whatever, or a human being. And worldwide we have a clear tendency, one heroine, two heroes, at least. And there are some countries like Cuba or Argentine where it's even worse. And if you then have a closer look to what is the nature of the main character, then in the human it's not that bad, but as soon as it comes to animal, magical creatures, robots or objects, it's even worse. It's not like 50% to 50% like we as human beings are, but there's a clear gender gap. Let me give you a classical example. The Smurfs. The Smurfs, you know the Smurfs? Yeah? The Smurf. The Smurf in itself is male. So we have 102 male Smurf, and actually there are 2 female Smurfs, Smurfette. And there is Sulsat, which is a red hair, kind of Pippi Longstocking girl. And so it's already that if you have 102 characters, you of course can tell much more and much different character attitudes and moments of character than if you had just one. The Smurfette, have to be everything. Do girls and boys really want these hypersexualized characters? Well, we took a German character, this is Pippi Blocksberg, and you normally don't see her body because she's wearing this jumper. And I found one picture where she's a little witch, and she made herself a cool outfit for her birthday. And she's 0.8. Actually, children have a 1, they are straight. So she's a little bit, but still a natural possibility. We split her up a little bit, and we made her a little bit more. And then we asked on a representative level, how should Pippi look like? And I thought, because they are changing the pictures, and I thought nothing will come out of this. No, clearly something comes out. Children want a natural body. Especially with the boys, this hypersexualized body, here are the little bit older girls, and the hypersexualized body for boys in this age is scary. And in a study we did last year, we asked children to, it's really nice, interesting study, we asked children to just draw themselves, me today, how do I look today, 2 years ago, me in 2 years. And there you can see how this, among others, had its light. Natasha, for example, that's how she draws herself. Or Aisha. And you can see, I'm good as I am, but in 2 years, I know I like my appearance. Yes, just wait, because then I will look like this. Or if you look like at Naima, and this is Naima herself, and you see Naima actually looks like she had drawn herself 2 years ago. where she already idolized the beautiful curly hair into a straight, and she thinks she will look like this in 2 years. And you can tell she will not look like this in 2 years. It's absolutely clear. If you're a child, you will run into a crisis if you have these kind of inner pictures in yourself, because you will not look like this in 2 years. And then let's look at the boys. Well, at least they're changing their jumper. And we ask children from all over the world to write picture letters to producers what they hated about girls and boys, how they're portrayed in television. It's really about, they criticized really heavily these kinds of sexualized and provocative dress style, heavy makeup, unnatural thin bodies. They criticized the emotional weak girls, that they're drama queens and confident girls comparing and evaluating each other. And for the boys, fighting and killing and shooting with guns. And that boys are always shown as criminal, stealing, drugs, and that they are dominant, bossy boys and bullies. The question is, why is it working? 5 minutes of mainly boys and some girls shooting with a soccer ball to get a goal.
Jetzt ist 1 gegen 1, das hat jeder schon mal erlebt hier. Auf den Torwart zu, draufhauen, ausdrücken. Jetzt ist 1 gegen 1, das hat jeder schon mal erlebt hier. Auf den Torwart zu, draufhauen, ausdrücken. Das könnt ihr machen, wie ihr wollt. Wir machen hier eine Trophäe für den Moment mit 2. Da müsst ihr noch ein bisschen was vorlegen. Also ich den Wort Jetzt geht's 1 gegen 1, das hat jeder schon mal erlebt hier. Auf den Torwart zu. Jetzt geht's 1 gegen 1, das hat jeder schon mal erlebt hier. Auf den Torwart zu. Draufhauen,
Well, because of course it is clear that it's embedded in a much broader view. It's embedded in a whole culture of how to perform to be a girl and a boy. What is seen as interesting for girls and boys and what they have perceived as interesting for girls and boys. And as you can see, in the beginning, actually the girls were quite open. They said, yeah, okay, it's football, that's funny. I haven't expected that, but it's okay. And if you would have done something else, it might have been interesting for them. But because it's just, kicking the ball, at some point it's just boring for them. Why? It's for the boys, it's really engaging. So let me use the last 7 minutes of the lecture to just give you a short introduction of what children are doing with television. We made a cross-cultural comparison how media go into the fantasy of children. And what you clearly can see, boys have more media traces in their fantasies than girls. If we talk about media, they don't take out all of them. They don't, like in Dragon Ball, they don't take all of them, but tiny little moments, ones which are important for them. And then they imagine to be the knight in a computer game in their fantasies, and that's what they daydream about. They imagine that have like Robbie, he has this dragon in the cellar, and every night, it's an imaginary friend, it comes from the film, and every night he comes home from school and he tells this dragon, in his mind, how everything was, and if somebody in school was bad with him and teases him, the dragon says, "Oh, should I burn him?" And he says, "No, no." So it's a kind of power. So they take out of the media, which gives them self-confidence. They are Peter Pan going out to chase Hook. They are Ash and discover a Pokemon, the unknown Pokemon. They imagine themselves this moment of winning, not of losing. They imagine of being the best millionaire in the world. And sometimes they take out of the media just the ones who gives them power, like for example this boy, Uma, from Israel, who says, well actually that's my children's room, but I just draw what is important, me. And he imagines to have the cape from Superman, to have the gloves from Spider-Man. He has the sword from Star Wars. He has a lot of Pokemons on his belts. He has the cap of Batman to hear better, which is okay. He already graduated from Hogwarts, and he found the treasure on the secret island, and he had killed Moby Dick. So he did it all. And this is very typical for boys. They try to protect themselves. They try to get power from the media to protect their inner self, that they can't be hurt. There are good reasons that we give them the opportunity to understand it's normal to be hurt. It's normal to be weak. The question is, how do you get out of it again? Yeah? How can you do it better? Well, that's a normal way how boys use the media. If it comes to the girls, do you have any idea what kind of fantasy this is? Carmen dreams something? Mermaid, right, it's the Little Mermaid. And important is this little thing. It's a magic box. Because in her fantasy, yeah, she has a magic box, and this magic box knows if she wants to be a mermaid or a human being. So it changes from legs to, what do you call it? The big thing there. The tail, the fish tail. So it changes. So she does not have to lose the voice. Yeah, she just can change it. So they are interpreting the media much more. This one is a fantasy which is based on Ice Age and actually comes from Bambi. Judy wants to protect her Arctic world. There are hunters who want to kill all the animals, and she scares them. She doesn't want to hurt them, she just wants to scare them. And then they go away, and her world is safe again. Or this one, where girls imagine to live in a world full of female. There is this tree, and to this tree you can come to the other worlds, and there are males too. But in this world there are just females. It's even a female Easter bunny. And it's based in some story. And, oh, it's still in German, sorry. And just to share one thing, do you have the same here, that at some age, little girls are totally fascinated by pink princesses? Do you have that? Yeah? Mine too, my older one, when she was 3 and 4, she really loved pink princesses, and I'm so much not pink. So I was really, oh my God, what's that? That is scary. So we did a study on that. So just very, overview, what makes a pink princess for a girl so valuable? First, it's the symbol of being a princess. A princess means you are valuable just because you are born. Just because you are there. And this is the best thing we can give to our children. They are valuable just because they are born. And this is how they often feel, because often the mother stays at home, they feel valuable, they feel loved, and they really appreciate the powerful woman at their home and really love to be a woman. And pink is because it's the only color which is not boy. And they love to be a girl. And that's how they celebrate, how they show, I'm a girl. And we even had in a study, they even interpret the profession of the mother into this character. So it's really, they value their mother in being a pink princess. And this normally is animated, I'm really confused about the presentation. And if you talk about what are the core needs for a healthy self, and of course there's a bottom. They need food, physical integrity, a reliable caring person, and a reliable home. And we know in your country and in the whole African continent, this is not at all given for our children. But let's imagine that this is given. What do children need to grow up as a healthy personality? They need the feeling and the knowledge to be loved for one's own sake, not because they are beautiful, they are high achievers, because they are there, they are loved. There's the need for autonomy. Let them do it on their own. We always think we know everything, but for a healthy self, you have to experience on your own. There is the need for respectful treatment. If two adults are meeting and we have different opinions, we will start discussing. And each side will at least try to hear what the other is saying and try to convince them. If we're talking to children, we always are so sure, no, come, go, no, I don't care what you want to do, I'll come. We are so sure that we know where the way is. And what they really need is respect. It does not mean, of course they don't know, for example, if it comes to food, they would just eat pizza. Yeah? And there are good reasons why we not only should give them pizza, but at least to understand and to respect that they love pizza is okay. There is the need to experience oneself as competent. We as human beings, we learn through the experience of competence. Most of the school systems are actually brought up the wrong way because it's all about mistakes. We actually learn from mistakes how to avoid it, but not where to go on. We learn where we are good, and that's where we are going further. So give them symbolic material which shows where they are competent. Give them the idea, this is something I can do, because this is where they would go further on. For resonance, which means on the one side, the thing that I'm going through, I'm not alone. I'm in love for the first time, but I'm not alone. These are me, but I'm not alone. And also that somebody is seeing me and hearing me. And a clear wish, need for orientation and security. Clearly, they know what, but it's not like, pulling them, it's more like a kind of space. And what they're actually doing with the media, if they have the possibility, they will heal themselves. Because as a human being, as a healthy human being, we can say, I'm loved, I'm proficient, I know on my own what is right and wrong, and I'm allowed to have my own will. And I am seen. And this is what quality media should give them.
My question comes from the debate on the aspect of aggression in media content. And on the other hand, we've had explanations from people who support this that we have had areas in the world where children are abused, where children are raped, where children are defiled, and we've also had instances of bullying in schools. And some people think that as we discuss the issue of aggression from media content, it's also necessary for us to discuss how we are able to skill our children to defend themselves against this kind of aggression.
From the Boy researcher, from Bernhard Winter and Gunter Neubauer, but I also learned that aggression is such an important part, especially for boys. It's a theme which is there because they feel attacked. They have the moment of aggression when they feel themselves. And we have to be very clear, aggression is not bad in itself. If you go into a meeting, yeah, and in broadcasting you have these kind of meetings where, well, and you go in without any aggression and you said, well, you take the million or I take the million, I don't care. There's no way how you can get the million euros or dollar, right? So there is a point of aggression which means aggradare, to move something. So aggression in itself is a part, is a feeling of the human being, and to get intention and say, okay, I want to discuss this. This is the good part of aggression. But aggression should not go into violence.